Hello, CNN and the other news sources, they have their sources interbranch and they won't tell on them. And because their motive, because that's their job, that's used to screen their actual motives, which are criminal foreign influences. They are not following mandated law and they're getting away with it by being coached to use wire crime and mail crime acts and methods at all natures of crime scenes and next to them too as collusions originally and still. So they're refusing to follow mandated law. They switch names into branch and with the news while they're planting evidences as collusions with the crime scenes on a mass scale. And they use their sources, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions raw, to lie about, and in other words, they go back and forth with courts with at the same time putting the same sequence shifts with names on all sides of cases and collusion slash S with other names not even present in the cases, including overt criminal enterprises and private ones. These are also names that are roles with the bordering states and countries in ways that everyone hasn't figured out because of the relativity of this. These families have been shared on off Central Connecticut State University since before everyone was born. For example, as people involved intercities with connections between campuses that are known and ones that aren't even realized, and the difference of that was exploited too. So Connecticut's Channel 3 News attached me to fake conversations with themselves and with others. Also is the collusions with their intelligence and the intelligence next to their network. The same thing, the sources of Fox News and the intelligence at their location in Hartford, Connecticut are next to them. They had time collusions with child abusers, leaders of kids, years apart, wire crime acts and methods. A bunch of people tied to a Mike Pandolf have been stacking predicate acts with facts, collusion slash S with all sides of criminal and civil cases. Also tied to their roles with their educators too. People involved with Washington, D.C. and the World Trade Center. Excuse me. Including increasingly intercities of Connecticut, all along Route 175 from the founding locations in Old Weathersfield and conjunctions to it are one of the things recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. A whole bunch of people to have federal evidence as crimes, and that's what connects their roles with those uses of that to put fake ties, fake natures of ties to me. Heather Hansen and Joe DeMauro recorded one of them confessed and demonstrated they have roles with the corner of Walker Hill and Route 175 and other corners on that street where they did something with a real estate sign on one of the houses there. It has something to do with their roles with names all along that street who are also tied to the child abusers, leaders of kids, first forced roles. Everyone forced to speak through others dishonestly while the news and their sources are planting fake ties and fake natures of ties to people. When they are caught forcing child abusers, leaders of kids, a bunch of people with the name O'Neill have their students child abused and have their own kids child abused. And the difference of their abuses with that is also used by the courts and themselves to cover up their collusions with that, which has them using the difference consciously. These are people on all sides of criminal and civil cases planting fake things in the databases at the campuses and with interbranch ones as hyper additional collusion slash S with use slash S of the locations slash S everywhere the human species body is. A breaching method was affected that knew that nature would demonstrate there's a breaching method involved at locations, areas, and states everywhere the human species body has a body. Black pupils, but we have nature's demonstrations. Effectively, the breaching method employed them to be blamed on other things, others, ourselves, and rolls with that. So, in other words, mandated laws offensively not followed. People from UConn are offensively putting fake things in delusions in databases. For example, they have psychiatry and psychiatrists also from Duke University involved with Hartford Hospital's roles with UConn, with sexual and medical offenders of kids, and with relative delusions. The experts on reason, logic, they're criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions raw. We need to get them on paper, one name and sequence. Watch what I caught them doing with elderly homes at the same time with the same ones involved sickly, with child defenders, leaders, and kids, and victims advocates involved with overt criminal enterprises and private ones, all along Route 3 in conjunctions to that and to that, and all along Route 175 in conjunctions to that and to that. There are a whole bunch of people recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, being haven't been used by investigators years apart, with their stacking predicate acts with facts and wrongdoing collusion /S with FBI directors, overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and their family members at the same time, times collusion /S, as people involved with the World Trade Center attack in New York City, who have been intercities and intra-cities of Connecticut, as ones involved with Washington, D.C. corruption, too, clearer than day since founding. Follow mandated law and everything will heal. Please, CNN, do what's right. Get me off a fake conversation with WFSB. Get them on paper, one name and sequence. And the people at Central Connecticut State University who recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed you guys involved with their stories with Paul Manafort Drive and with the Russians in Ukraine, families involved with the sides of or the difference of their guilt there or at the campus of Central Connecticut State University. A bunch of people tied to Heather Hansen and a Detective Samuda involved with the former director of the F.B.I. with medical and sexual offenders of kids and relative crime acts with the phones with that. Heather Hansen as roles with Elena Davenport, a Detective Samuda had like sexual calls to her at the business office with a bunch of people involved with Newington locations too. And with this, in other words, as ones all along Route 3, people tied to a Chet Casper, increasingly demonstrating, recorded, confirmed, confessing Route 3 and its demonstration and its conjunctions to that, and all along the Borough Turnpike and conjunctions to it and to that, like Two-Route Highway, and like increasingly roles of these people, building upon. With New Britain Superior Court put fake things in their databases with these names. Hartford courts, their family members involved with sexual medical offenders of kids, pretending passions and emotions, slandering people, lying about their motivations for it. These have been people also with the state corrections office and judicial branch offices, and people that run the prisons with the same house /S, and with their extended family members involved with sexual and medical offenders of kids. A number of doctors, foreign and domestic, personally and professionally involved with wire crimes, falsified police reports, identity theft, fraud, slanders acts with them. Get them on paper, one name and sequence. They switch names into branch. Fear God for them just talking heads with these subjects.